My apologies. Welcome to the Upper Allen Township Park and Recreation Board for August 27th, 2025. If I could ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to announce that this meeting will be live streamed via Zoom. For those who wish to attend virtually, a recording of this session will be made available on YouTube after the fact, and you can get to that through the township website very easily. If I could have a roll call of the board and audience and staff. To my left,
Jason Sapoznik.
Lauren Sanker.
Jeff Williams.
Dan Harrison.
Chad Krebs.
Eddie Merrick.
Jim Cocker.
Tiffany Harris.
Rick Castanio. Thank you. We have the minutes from 2 months ago. Any changes? Motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Never opposed. Thank you. Tonight's historic. I have no announcements.
Actually.
I enjoy the abuse. Commissioners, something to share? Oh, first, I'm sorry, any public comments? Jim, you have anything to update us on? Any? Nope, okay. I'm looking for a 25-minute meeting. All right, commissioners, something to
I
share?
don't have anything to add, just that the commissioners were invited to tour the Mechanicsburg pool the other day, so some of the commissioners went there.
Yeah, I did go along on that. And it was a good tour. Thank you. Mr. Fairchild? Anything?
Yeah. Well, it's on the agenda.
Okay, all right. Chad?
Yeah, just some of our projects that's going on. Grantham is ahead of schedule. They're hoping to get that done by the end of September. The pond itself has been completely dredged out and they're packing the banks with bentonite just to help stabilize. And they're starting the pier construction next week, and then they'll simultaneously start the pipe as well to feed the pond. So probably within a month that'll be done. They did hit shale as they were dredging, so the original proposed depth of 10 feet we didn't make. We're about 6.5 feet for the whole pond, but it's still a major improvement from what it was. And then with that project going on, the Whining Hill open space, the material is going down there, filling that area, and they should be done with that at the end of the week as well. So our crew will be seeding and final grading that probably next week. The train viewing area is pretty much wrapped up. Pensy started the trails. They excavated for the new trails that are going down there, and one of the trails leads up to that. So as soon as they get that paved, we'll open that up. We have some benches to put over there yet. The fitness equipment was completed. That was a project mainly done in-house. The only thing we subbed out on that was the port in place. Seems like it's getting a lot of use. We have cameras down there, so we've been checking them every once in a while just to see, and kids are using it the way they're supposed to, adults, some people there early in the morning. So I think that's getting a lot of use. And other than that, one of our only other bigger projects we have is we're replacing Trout Run swing set, but that'll probably be within the next couple of weeks after we get through some of the Fall Fest planning and get this field done down at Whining Hill.
Thank you. A couple hours ago, I was at the dog park and there was someone there that complimented Kinsley on how they handled the Grantham Pond. They were very pleased about it. It's not someone I'd met before. So I think that's been handled really well by everybody from everything I've heard. All right. I guess Eddie, it's you.
What I have is further down the agenda.
Okay. How about Tiffany? Thank you for the report.
Jeff, or, never mind, sorry.
You can interrupt me at any time. That's my life. It's okay.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm super excited to report that summer has come to a close. We've now started school. Summer's the season you're really excited for to start, and then you're always ready for the next season to begin, which is the fun part about recreation is we always have something new coming up. So I did share with you a list of the programs that we had for July, just so you could see the total numbers for the programs that started in July. I do want to highlight that during the course of the summer, excluding summer adventure camp and the playground program, we had a total of 993 participants in our programs this summer. So it takes a team effort. Everyone worked really hard to make sure that we're serving the community. And I just, wanted to make sure to share that number with you guys. Going into the fall, our fall program guide was mailed. Hopefully everyone received it in your mailbox. Because as one season closes, another opens, we start working on the next one. So we're really excited we were able to bring back aquatic programs for the fall with the natatorium being done at the high school. So we're gonna have water aerobic class, a recreation swim, and swim lessons. And we're seeing, great feedback on registrations on all of those programs. So we're really excited to have some water back available for our community to be able to access outside of the summer months. So that's what I have. Do you guys have any questions?
Do you have anything? Playgrounds for Kosher. I am assuming most of those are township residents.
I could pull a report. I wouldn't know offhand,
All right.
but I can find out.
We don't get any money from the borough. Okay, just saying. All right. That's out of my hands. All right, great. Thanks for a great job. Thanks for the pool tour the other day.
Yeah, of course, glad to help. If you guys need anything, let me know.
Thank you. Any other questions, anybody?
Mr. Williams, I had a question for Tiffany, or
Yes, sir.
the aqua cat swim lessons on the report. Was that held at the high school or at the Mechanicsburg pool? Outdoor pool. Okay, thanks.
All right. Bird Town.
Hello, I'm here to talk about Bird Town tonight. As some of you already know, we became a Bird Town in 2024. This was a Tim initiative that has now become an Alexis initiative, kind of by default, but here we are. I'm actually really excited about this, and I've mustered up about 15 people that want to get emails about our activities and stuff like that. Since I started publicizing it, I've got interest from 3 more people, and Karen Cochran's going to put it in the Women's Club newsletter. So I'm hoping that will go over well, and we can bring in some more volunteers because we're trying to have some events and we need volunteers to pull them off. So at Fall Festival, we're going to have a table for Bird Town. We'll have like a Bird Town tablecloth and some literature there. On Saturday, October 11th, we are having a guided bird and nature walk, and it's going to be led by Stephen Karkoff of the Avian Recovery. He's an avian recovery biologist with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. So that will start. We're doing 2 walks because he doesn't want too many people on the walk because it will kind of ruin it. So we're doing one that starts at 8:30 and one that starts at 9:30. So. And we do have a good amount of interest on Facebook about it, but we've only had 4 people sign up for the 8:30 a.m. So I'm going to try and push it, a lot more, a little closer to the date, because October 28th is still a little far out for people to commit to. We also talked about at our last Bird Town Committee meeting, the Lights Out initiative, which is from August 15th to November 15th, 2025. Which Harrisburg, it's like a Harrisburg initiative, but it also like applies to the suburbs of Harrisburg, where residents are encouraged to turn off unnecessary lights because a lot of birds die every year during migration season just flying into windows. So it's like a kind of, it's like, it's obviously not going to be mandated to turn out your lights, but it's just between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. And then we're working on getting a native plant sale together, but I'm having a lot of trouble getting plant vendors interested because I can't guarantee that they'll sell, you know, basically the only response I got was, you know, we need to sell like $1,500 worth of product to make it worth our time. And I really, for a first time event, I'm really like wary of saying, yeah, we can guarantee you $1,500 in sales, you know, like, so I don't know where we're going to end up with that, but we do have quite a few volunteers, as I mentioned. So I'm going to keep up with recruitment. We meet the third Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. I think that's the cadence. So that's Birdtown.
Thank you. I would like to put in the record that Alexis is now chairing the 175th anniversary committee, and Birdtown as a default. I guess that fits under other duties as assigned, but I want to thank you publicly for doing that. I think you're doing a great job with it. And we'll move along. Nick is not here, but I've been to Friendship. I was going to, Chad, did you hear anything from him? I did not see an email.
Yeah, he emailed, and all the other three did email. They all said their parks
Right.
look fine, so.
Okay,
But
I'll
yeah.
keep coming back to you. All right, Country Estates, someone set up a grass volleyball net, so I think the community is using it. Probably thrills the mowing people. McCormick, benches are being used, people are sitting there, laptops, putting the usual thing. They're putting their chairs in the water on the weekend. I've probably been by 7, 8 times, maybe more since we last met. And the park is a treasure. The dog park I was down at a little while ago, and the 6 o'clock bunch was there, all in the large dog park. Dogs playing well, rolling over each other. But their concern is for shade. So I know we have something in the budget to discuss, proposed budget. It's been deferred for a bit, but now that we are on a lease that goes to 2045, at some point when we get to budget, I'm going to suggest that this board support commercial shading at that park. There's always 5 or 6 cars there, except the middle part of the day, particularly now that school is in. But the park looks great. I hear over and over and over again that the maintenance is outstanding. So I'll pat you on the back again. It's kind of getting painful, but they do a great job. That park is also a treasure. Lauren.
Well, Grantham is Grantham right now, so we'll just move on past that. I did take a walk today at Generations, and the only thing I'd really say in terms of something we could do differently is that the water runoff down some of the walking trails that are like cinder have created some really deep grooves. And I think if you're riding something or walking, it could be a hazard. So I think that probably could use a little zhuzhing.
Excuse me, is that on the gravel part that hasn't been paved yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is what we were talking about. It's why
Yeah.
you pave.
Yeah. Other than that, everything looked great. I saw benches there that I don't know when they went in. Was that?
2 months ago now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they look great.
I've used them.
Yeah. Everything was beautiful. What a day out there, and we saw some deer as well. So it was great.
Did you see the deer down on the Lisburn side?
It was on is that the Lisburn side?
It was on either side. We ran into each other.
Yeah, we ran into
But it was on either side.
Something you want to tell?
No, completely by chance. But then I later went down around where the rock pile is, or like where Kinsley was working, and jumped a few right along the trail.
Oh.
They were right there, so.
Because there is a herd around there. Carmen, when she worked for Black Landscape, they feed the deer, they used to. I don't think they do anymore. When they had stock in, when they had, when they had sales of plant stock, they would feed the deer so they wouldn't eat the arbor vitae and other things, so. We know there's a herd there, and I think that's great. Anything, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's it. Looked great.
All right. Well, we're missing Christina and Jessica. Anything you want to, anything from them?
They just said their parks look good.
Okay. Jason,
So Fisher, we walked, and it was in great shape tonight, baseball going on. Miller's, surprisingly, they must have had a birthday party or something, because there was like a dozen kids on the equipment the other day, like it was packed. Standing room only at Miller's Crest, it was amazing. And, but the park looks great, the grass is nice and mowed, and went by Kosher, and there are a few kids playing on the equipment there, but I mean, generally, the park looks a lot cleaned up from how it was. It's just wasn't heavy use when I went by.
Dan, Winding Hill.
Yep, I was around today. Awesome day outside. I saw the walking trails that are dug out there. I don't know did you say, when is that happening? When are they gonna?
They just did the excavation this week, so they should be coming in either at the end of this week or next week to start stoning them, and then they'll pave them after that. I
Nice.
know they're trying to coordinate paving with some of the road projects, so.
Yeah, it looked great. I mean, you could easily see it's gonna add some nice trails to the area. And I walked up to the train viewing, still roped off, obviously, but I walked up there close. Are they gonna get a radio in there too? Is that happening?
It's in there, yep.
Oh, it is in there. I didn't,
Yeah.
where's that
It's
at?
just a speaker. We have everything in the box off to the side, so nobody can mess with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would have been me today, but okay. That looked good. I saw some kids and a couple moms using the exercise equipment, just kind of checking it out, nothing crazy, but I saw the dirt piles almost completely gone. And everything looked good. Somebody was mowing at South and everything looked fantastic. So,
I have to say, I've been by both Generations and Winding Hill quite a bit. When the exercise equipment went in, I'd stop and talk to people quite a bit. And a lot of folks were excited about it. You had all different ages, didn't know quite what to do with it. I understand that you saw on camera, there was somebody there at 6 a.m. in the dark, some gentleman working out. If you look at the Facebook page for the Township Community Group, you will see various comments off a post that I put in, just letting people know it's there. And a couple people have concern. Kids could get hurt. Kids could don't know how to use it. That's probably true, but I had the opportunity to watch children using the way this equipment is, and it'd be a little difficult unless you fell off of that somehow, which you can do in the playground anyway. There was one comment that I won't repeat that was positive about basically how there's always a chance of something going on, that had the most positive responses. I think I had 80 responses that were positive about that equipment. And I congratulate staff on researching it, going out near Philadelphia to see it. It has a track record when it comes to liability and possible tort law. That would have been out there a long time ago, and the manufacturers would have had to have adjusted, in my opinion, if there was a problem. So I think it once again is a innovative step to the front addition to one of our parks. And I compliment the park staff on your vision for that. And I went down, again today and talked to some people. And they're having a ball with it. So we will see the serious users once they discover it, use it a little more. In the meantime, it's just kind of fun. Thank you. Our events, is that you, Ed?
Yeah, so our Fall Fest, our third annual Fall Fest is coming up in about a month here. There's not really anything different that we're doing this year other than just adding a petting zoo, the community resource vendors area. A helicopter we had last year, but because of rain, they backed out. So this year we're hoping for pretty nice weather so they can come and land, and a history tent we're going to have as well. And the drone show at 8 p.m. to finish off the night. But pretty much for the rest of the areas will pretty much be the same. We're not really changing much, only because it's working, we think. And the turnout's great every year with bad weather. So we're Alexis has reached out to the weather people, so we're hoping for nice weather. And also with Alexis's social media posts and everything she's doing on that, we're getting a lot of responses, a lot of feedback on pretty much anything she puts on there. So kudos to her. But that's pretty much all for the Fall Fest.
I mean, I'd just like to add, Alexis has been a tremendous help this year with the planning with Fall Fest, so.
You are pretty, you're doing a great job. Don't get cocky. I'll be in the back. For events?
Nope.
Nope, didn't think so.
The day after Fall Fest, we're also going to have the vintage baseball tournament at Winding Hill. So that's also going to be part of the 175th anniversary for the township. And then November 30th, as you can see up on the board there, from 5 to 6:30, we're going to have our tree lighting event. That's sponsored by Alba. Once again, it was a quick event last year. It was pretty successful, we thought. We got a lot of positive feedback on it. So once again, we're pretty much going to do the same thing this year. Instead of Santa walking around, they're thinking we're going to do a quick, like a holiday Christmas scene where you can sit and actually have the kids come over and get some photos and stuff like that. We're going to have a couple food trucks, 3 food trucks to be exact, and the fireplaces again, and the bubble machine and stuff like that again. So, and we're hoping to have music once again. So that's pretty much all I have for now.
All right, thank you. You all understand we didn't have any events 4 years ago. And staff has done all of this on top of what they already do, so thank you. The pool agreement under new business.
Yep, so I know we discussed this, it might have been last year now, but the funding that the township provided Mechanicsburg Borough for the pool agreement has expired last year. So there's no money that we're giving them this year. And we were reached out to ask if what our interest was to renew the pool agreement. We don't have all the information yet, so I'm going to provide as much as we can. Basically, they're asking for the same agreement we had last time, which was 50,000 over 20 years, 50,000 every year. What they're looking for, from my understanding, is more of a capital improvement again, not really operating costs. So they'd like to take out a loan to basically rebuild the pool, and they're gauging interest from us and possibly other townships if we decide not to be interested. So I put up the pool pass prices up on the screen. Tiffany passed out information on the memberships. So before we get to hers, last year we had 234 passes that were sold to our residents, which is 798 residents. overall, last year, they had 2,120 passes between us, Shiremanstown, non-residents and the borough. So we make up about 30%, 37% of the pool usage. And with the agreement currently, our residents get the resident rate versus the non-resident rate. So last year, we saved the residents about $23,000 between the differences, if they would have had to pay the full rates versus the resident rates. So this year, the numbers that Tiffany got us so far, with our member check-ins, we don't really have how many passes were sold. Well, you do have how many passes are sold, but they're not totaled. The member check-ins from the passes sold was 12,950 visits. And then daily passes that they sell as a separate pass, they have 10,285, and that was from May to August. And I think the pool's open, what, another week yet, Tiffany? 2 weeks? Somewhere in there. So there was a plan done in 2023. Tug, the old rec director at Mechanicsburg, helped him get a grant for this. This was shown, so I asked him if we could show it publicly. This plan, there's a couple of different designs they have, ranging from $500,000 to a $2 million upgrade. Between myself and talking with some of the borough staff, the only thing that these plans don't really help us with is the actual infrastructure and knowing how long the pool actually lasts with the infrastructure it has. So in my opinion, some of the missing information that we have is the actual infrastructure of the pool, and maybe not just some of the concept features. And they shared that concern as well. So I think this is still going to drag on a little bit, especially with their manager leaving to figure out next steps and what else should be done, just to see if we want to buy into this agreement. So this is one of their concepts. Just upgrading some of the areas. This is their cheaper concept. It's upgrading the slide and adding some of the like animal features. This other concept has a splash pad and wading pool, which will give her their kiddie pool, and a lot bigger slide. This is a $2.5 million concept. Now this is 2023 as well. So this is just some pictures. Like I said, this was a consultant design done with a grant that Tug got for him. And then there's just a separate area for the wading and splash pad if they would update that area. And then also would be basically redoing the bathhouse and concession stands and locker rooms, which I'm not sure how old that building is, but it's definitely showing its age. So basically we came tonight to kind of ask for what your guys' thoughts are, just with some of the information we have about the importance of the pool, and we want to at least try to get with them and at least tell them if we're interested or not. Obviously, there's still some missing information, but.
Comments?
I definitely want to know all of the information before we do anything. I love that we have this as a add-on, right? This is like one of the benefits of being neighbors, and the joint agreement has, like, you know, been difficult, but it is something that we've been like continuing for all these years. I'm really excited about changes to this place because, you know, I grew up in Mechanicsburg, so I've swam in these pools, and like you said, they're old, very old, and the buildings, and I mean, they smelled back when I was there. So, you know, I just can't even imagine right now.
Locker rooms are special.
They really are. So I'm interested, but I'm unsure.
Yeah, likewise, I think before committing another $1 million to Mechanicsburg, we need more information. Like, I mean, if we're just gonna help pay for a facelift and everything else, the infrastructure implodes, you know, then we're on the hook. We'd be better off just offsetting individual memberships for township residents at $23,000, then, saves our taxpayers and the township $27,000 a year that way. Because I don't know what the return is on our $1 million investment. Is it gonna improve the experience for the residents that much? It might be smarter to look for a new spot to dig another hole and, build a new, something to think about for them is just put in a new pool that, is gonna last.
Right. I did tour the pool and they have additional features they put in over the years. And it's pretty neat the way it is, but we give 50K, 23,000 is saved to our residents out of that. The rest that we're not looking at is the maintenance and any major pieces that have to be done, but still, it's a little bit off for me. And I do have some aquatic experience way back in the day. I'd like to see a professional analysis of that pool, the feeder lines, the mechanicals, the shell of the pool itself. I would like to know what a independent professional organization, a company says what that pool is going to look like 5 years down the road. Now, they've had grants in the past from DCNR for the slide, I think. I honestly don't know for sure, but I generally support being involved with this pool. I certainly don't support personally 20 years. I think that's nuts, professionally speaking. 3, 5 years, reevaluate. But those are the things I would suggest for the minutes. I think for our group tonight, if we feel that we support our continued involvement with the pool, we could do a motion to the the commissioners would see that would support further investigation down the line. Do we feel in a general sense that we support our involvement with this pool? Yeah. Anybody else have any other comments? You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
Can you specify
that
the
we
motion?
support, tell me what this motion should be, that we support this.
I think the way Jeff said it, could support continuing investigating
Yeah.
and.
He
I think
could,
that'd
isn't
probably
he?
be
Yeah,
enough.
I like what Chad said. That's my
You
motion.
got that, Alexis, what Chad said?
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Nobody opposed. So we'll take it from there and see what we can get.
I mean, I think it's gonna take a little bit, especially with them being in limbo with switching managers as well, so. But
Yeah, but I think generally the commissioners know, I mean, this is something that's been valuable for a while. I think, I get up here and I don't talk professionally, I'm sorry, but I think 20 years was a sucker bet. But, they can take a look at the duration, they can work with it. There are grants out there, right, Tiffany? So, I mean, there's ways to do this, but you have to make sure that your base is in place before you start to put cookies and cream on it. All right. Moving right along. The budget, the budget.
So we're just starting budget planning. Some of our budget meetings are coming up. I just wanted to kind of go over just a quick overview of some of the things we were looking at staff wise, and then if you guys had anything to add, change, or we do have Grantham Phase 2 next year, so that'd be the half-mile trail, the parking lot, the stormwater improvements. That estimate's around 350,000 right now. This year's contract was 760, I think, but they're expecting that to be a little lower since we didn't take as much material out of the pond. So we're still around that $1 million mark that we originally talked about. And we have the $250,000 grant also from DCNR that'll be split up between this year and next year. We're looking to ask for money to do the meadows down at Generation, to seed those. We can do those in-house pretty cheaply. We're gonna look at doing the bird watching one, the quiet one, and I think probably the butterfly one, all the ones that are encased by the trails that were already paved. And with that, I also want to redo down at Whining Hill between the railroad tracks and the park. I'd like to kill all that off and do some type of wildland mix or something in there as well, because right now it's just 4 acres of weeds that nobody uses. Like Jeff said, we are going to look to try to do some more of a permanent shade structure at the dog park since we have that lease extended. I mean, the things we put up now are just kind of in-house, cheap, thrown up, so it'd be
That was
nicer.
my idea, it wasn't cheap.
It was still cheap to do.
We paid for it. Yeah, it was cheap.
Some of the normal stuff we've been doing, reoccurring bench money, tree money. There's a couple small attachments we'd like equipment wise, just basically that are related to the meadows with keeping them upkept. Couple of the trout run basketball court that was paved a couple years ago, so we'd like to acrylic coat that to match that. The Fisher tennis courts were done. That'll be 7 or 8 years next year, so looking to possibly do that again. We want to do some upgrades to the basketball courts at Fisher, the backboards and stuff. They're pretty old. We painted them a couple times, so we'd like to replace them. The bathroom floors at Whining Hill North and South, we'd like to get them epoxy coated to kind of match the Fisher and Friendship. They're a lot nicer to clean, and we'd be looking at doing a roof on the Fisher concession stand as well, because that's past due and I think it's starting to leak in a couple spots. So if there's anything else you guys would like to add or can think of that we've talked about. Oh, and the other thing, Alexis is going to help us with a grant with Trout Run. I know we talked about doing a grant earlier in the spring, but the money didn't work out to cover. We couldn't get the project down low enough to make it work with the grant money that we would have applied for. So we're applying for another grant that would cover the whole project.
Did that run the trail up toward Ashcombe Manor?
So we've
Okay.
tried to scale it back a little bit to meet the last grant, just to try to make the money work, but it's still $700,000. So it would connect the park to the development, and there would be a future access that they could connect to the Ashcombes that we were hoping to maybe approach them with once they got the tavern built and try to get them to pay for it, since it would benefit them.
Questions? Suggestions for additional budget items?
So a couple of ideas. One, I kind of mentioned in passing once, maybe a rain garden of some sort down at Miller's Crest, maybe somewhere to put all that water at some point when the projects and the stormwater and everything moves into the neighborhood. And then I still think we need to consider lighting our athletic fields instead of building new fields. Increasing the capacity is a better use of our land than plowing in new fields or seeding new fields. It's been said, well, what about all the extra use on the turf? And I've been at softball tournaments with 40 teams playing from sunrise to well past sunset, and the fields hold up. So that's not a concern. I just think with the school district growing and more kids moving to the area, at some point we're going to need more fields, but until then, I think lighting them would give us the capacity we need to keep all the sports organizations happy and give us more opportunities to bring in tournaments and other events, because they can play later into the evening and into the fall.
Other comments? Okay. Anything
Mr.
else,
Williams,
Pardon me?
I would just say we had asked, or I'd asked the engineer to prepare some cost estimates for further infrastructure work at Generations Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's forthcoming before the budget, that we can see, kind of a larger view of what things may cost. And I was curious, I would think the LSA grant we applied for last year, to complete the trail loop, that should be coming through soon. Maybe Alexis knows, but I would think, I think September or something they normally announce? or-
Yeah, I'll say grant now. I think it's September or November. It was the end. That's for.
Apply
that-
for a new one.
that's
I'm
advised.
saying the approval
It's the one
for
for
the one
generations
last
that
year.
Tim applied for. Yeah, from what I recall, it's somewhere in September, October, the one that Tim applied for.
Yeah, that's what
So-
I remember too.
Yeah.
So we should know that by the time the budget, comes through. But thank you.
Hopefully we get that. Speaking of anything else for the budget, gentlemen? All right, Generations Park, that bird walk, which has been in planning for a number of weeks.
There's not much to say about the bird walk. It's just, it's gonna be led by an expert and he's just gonna, they're do a, kind of slow little walk and he'll inform people along the way.
And we'll walk. Okay.
Yeah. And even if all we get is the Birdtown people, that's still 16 people. So in my eyes, that's a win, plus the 4 people that signed up. That's
they're
20
doing-
people.
He's doing 2.
Yeah, he's doing one at 8:30 and one at 9:30 because he wants to keep the group small. So
I have seen, and I have not been out there a lot, tufted titmouse, I've seen red-winged blackbird, one. Obviously all the sparrows and other stuff you see, but I think there's a lot out there. The habitat, because there's kind of some wetlands area, I mean, the habitat is great. So the bird watching should be exceptional.
Yeah.
So.
let's
thank
hope
you.
so.
Thank you for setting that up. You're now an official recreation program. All right, we have, I'm sorry? All right. I did receive, an email. Well, actually, I was approached after a Board of Commissioners meeting by Judy Bailey, about, who lives Lisbon Road, I guess, or in the McCormick area, about a citizen-led, nature and bird walk. And I won't speak any further because she cannot be here tonight, but, I know, Mr. Fairchild is familiar with that. Would you like to say a couple of words or?
Yeah, I just apologize. They couldn't be here. My wife was in on it also for this
I
kind of
heard that.
citizen initiative.
Heard that about her.
But
Okay.
I think it kind of overlaps with the Birdtown activities now, but it's just to engage the public, introduce them to the park and the natural beauty that's there, promote wellness and encourage a deeper appreciation of the environment. I think they are really hopeful that maybe some of the Messiah Lifeways people may want to take advantage of it. But so it was, local residents offering to do it at specific times and then by appointment. I think we'd probably have to work with townships. They would have to work with township staff to figure out, the marketing and just reading their proposal, which have you shared it with the board, Jeff, or?
I probably 2 weeks ago sent
Okay.
her proposal to all of the board members. Well, you saw a copy, so you know it went out.
So they can, if you would table it tonight or something, they could, come in next month and give you a better explanation. But it occurred to me maybe to involve the Birdtown people in Audubon. I think like Susan Miller, who's addressed the board, Park and Rec board before, is a member of Audubon. So there are other people like that I think would have an interest.
All right. Comments from the board, we're certainly going to table any action, but any comments now?
Just that we should wait. Have the full-
Get your mic.
We should wait and have the full experience as it was meant to be presented. So perhaps next time, table for next time. And I'm interested because if there is some overlap in the programming, I guess the difference is that it's led by like residents versus professional. Yeah. Is that, yeah, is that really?
Avian biologist.
Okay.
He's with the State Game Commission. He's worked with us for a couple other projects too, so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share what I shared with Judy, so it is not a surprise. First of all, it requires registration twice a week that perhaps would have to go through the township. The township is a little bit overwhelmed right now. We're not really set up to do that too much, but that is a concern. And I agree, we need to hear the full presentation. But I'll be blunt. I'll be honest. I have a concern that we have two concerns. Residents there that may take folks on basically a tour. By the way, it was very well written, this proposal. Okay, it hits all the buttons. But my concern is that it allows people outside of the township possibly to present their views on what should and should not be in Generations Park. My second concern is that we're coming up to an election that'll have a lot of impact. And Ms. Bailey is running for office. And that's a bit of a conflict for me until after the election. So I kind of like the idea, maybe it could be worked, but my suggestion to the board is to table it till we hear from her next time. And I'll sit here on camera and in front of her and tell her the same thing I told her, what my concerns are. It is up to you all and probably the commissioners at some point to decide how this works out. Is that clear enough, or did I mumble my way through again?
Be clear.
Okay. It is very well written. Anything that gets the people in the park, I kind of liked, and I liked when I initially heard it. But once I thought about it, I have some concerns for me that need to be addressed. Any other comments?
Just that, it's not discouraging citizens from doing things in the park. It's just, a group of people is welcome to walk in the park anytime they wish. It's just not with the backing of the township. It's just like a volunteer, people show up to do yoga in the park, or, people meeting at the dog park. Groups of people are more than welcome to meet in our parks to do any legal permitted activity. And it doesn't necessarily mean the township should be endorsing it just for, the fiscal aspect of it or liability. But, my 2 cents.
Yep. But I like the idea. I think it's more than fair to have Ms. Bailey come and present that. And then we'll talk about it again. Is that all right with everybody to table it? Yes. All right. I see nothing else. Anything else for the good and the welfare of all? We are adjourned under an hour again. I like this. Do I get this?